So this for the case, maple rice pancakes. Samantha, 24 years old, entrepreneur based in Surrey, British Columbia, who recently completed diploma in business management KPU University. During her studies, Samantha began experimenting with the small scale food production from her home kitchen, initially preparing pancakes for friends and family. Uh, what uh, What began to casual activity soon developed to the structure micro-business operation under the name Maple Rice Pancakes. Using the platforms such as Instagram and Facebook Marketplace, Samantha began selling the freshly prepared pancakes boxes to local customers in Surrey White Rock. Her production combined both cultural and local appeal, including classic Canadian maple pancakes, coconut pancakes, inspired by Sri Lanka cuisine, and protein cakes designed to the fitness conscious customers. On at the outset, Samantha limited her operation to weekend pre-orders, requiring customers to place orders in advance and collect them from her home. Despite this constraint, the business grows steadily, largely driven by the strong customer satisfaction word of mouth referrals. Over the period of 3 months, Samantha observed a noticeable increase in demand. Customers began requesting same-day purchases rather than pre-order, while local gyms and small coffee approached her with the potential bulk supply opportunities. This development have prompted Samantha to consider expanding her operation to small commercial retail space. Currently, she operates her business 2 weeks per day, 2 days per week, on Saturday and Sunday, and her pricing and demand level reflect the more modest but consistent scale of operation as shows below. So what she get is selling price per box, which have 5 pieces of cake, $12. Average orders 80 per week. Protein pancake box, again 5 pieces, 15.50 per day per week. And a coconut, $14.40 per week. Samantha currently cost structure remains relatively simple as she operates from her home kitchen and does not employ staff. Her primary costs consist of ingredients packing, along with a reasonable allocation for utilities and her own labor, which she values at fair hourly rate to better understand the true performance of the business. So now from the sales information, what you can do is you can easily get the total weekly sales. So once you know the weekly sales and you know that the month usually have 4 weeks and the year has 52 weeks, you can easily come up with the sales, total sales per month, total sales per year. Easily. This calculation you can easily make. Now, once you know the cost, you can easily come up with the cost. Ingredients. And you have 4 per order. Packing, 150 per order. Utilities, selling price per box. Utilities, home allocation, $50 per week. Labor, $20 per hour. Time, 15 hours, $300. That will be Samantha's time, which will be 15 hours. That most likely is per week again. All this cost is based on weekly cost. This is your weekly cost. So you have the orders. So you can easily come up with the ingredients. Cost for the ingredient based on the orders. Cost for the packing based on the orders. Utilities, that will be the fixed cost per week. Samantha labor is going to be fixed cost per week. So this is your variable cost, this is your fixed cost. You can come up with those costs. With increasing demand and operational limitation at home, Samantha is considering leasing 600 square foot retail unit and small commercial plaza in Surrey, located near residential neighborhood and fitness center. This move would allow her to operate 6 days per week, accept walk-in customer, increase production capacity, establish strong brand presence. However, the transition to retail location introduced significant higher level of fixed cost and financial risk as outlined below. So if she moved to that retail operation, now she has to pay rent, utilities, insurance, overhead. So the total fixed cost for all those is $3,750. In addition to ongoing costs, Samantha must also make initial investment in equipment and furnishing necessary for commercial operation. These assets are expected to provide benefits over multiple years and represent substantial financial commitment at the outset. So again, those are monthly fixed costs here. Once you move to that retail store, that means the utility at home will disappear. Samantha's rate now is going to move from the weekend to weekly basis because she's operating 6 days per week. Be careful with these things and start getting some numbers, start getting idea. Now, with additional costs, so now he has to purchase those assets. Now the commercial griddle, refrigerator, kitchen equipment, POS system, furniture, total investment 11,000. If Samantha proceeds with the expansion, she expects a significantly increase per weekly sales due to the extended operating hours and improved accessibility for clients. Her projected demand and pricing under the retail model presented. So now we're moving from again, we're staying per week. That's weekly cost. Now we're moving to the weekly demand. Now we have the demand per week with the retail price. Now you can start calculation how much you can generate for the entire year. The other thing that you have is the monthly fixed cost. You can multiply it for 1 year to see how much will be this cost per year. Once you have this demand, you can easily come up with the cost for the pancakes. You having the ingredients, you having the packing, but let's see if there's something changed here because she's doing it home. Let's see if there's any changes here. Operating a retail location will also introduce additional costs, particularly in relation to staffing in higher production levels. Samantha plans to hire 1 employee to assist with the operation while also paying herself a fixed weekly salary to reflect the management role of the business. So now this is the new cost. So these costs here are effective only and only when she operates at home. All these costs are effective when she moved to that retail space. So you have the ingredients, which I believe stay the same or no, the cost is $1 increase. You have $5, packing 1.5, employee wage we're paying $18 for 30 hours per week, and Samantha give herself $800 per week. So you can easily convert all this one in a year. To sustain customer demand and build brand awareness, Samantha is considering a modest marketing plan that includes paid social media advertising and collaboration with local influencer. While her business has grown organically this far, she believes that continued marketing effort may be necessary to maintain sales level over the time. Monthly marketing cost. So now we have a new cost, which is the marketing cost, which is 500 per month. You can easily come up with per year. Samantha estimated that without this marketing effort, her sales volume could decline by approximately 15%, particularly after the initial excitement of operating the new retail location. From the financial perspective, Samantha faces funding challenges as her personal savings are around $6,000, which is insufficient to cover the required investment at 11,000. As a result, she considered two primary financial options. First option involved obtaining a bank loan on the interest rate of 8%, which would allow her to retain the full ownership of the business but introduce the fixed repayment obligation. The second option involves bringing an equity partner who would provide the necessary fund in exchange of 30% of the ownership stake of the business. Samantha is uncertain which option would be more beneficial as long as particularly given the trade-off between the control and financial risk. In addition to financial considerations, Samantha must also evaluate the operational risk associated with the expansion. While demand appears strong, there's uncertainty regarding whether those sales level can be sustained consistently. Moving to the retail spares introduce the risk of unsold inventory, higher daily operating pressure, and great exposure to competition. Nearby coffees offer similar products within the range of $13 to $18, requiring Samantha to carefully consider which should compete, whether she should compete on the price or position her brand in the premium offering based on the quality and uniqueness. Samantha is also committed to maintaining strong ethical standards in her business. She intends to source ingredients from the local supplier within British Columbia, ensure that the fair wages of her employees, and minimize the food waste where possible. However, those ethical commitments may result higher costs, creating potential tension between the profitability and social responsibility. Finally, Samantha requires guidance on the basic accounting treatments, particularly in relation to her initial investment in equipment, since it's unsure which cost should be recorded as an asset and depreciate over time, and which will be treated as expense in the current period. Understanding those distinctions is important for accurately assessing financial performance for her business. At this stage, Samantha must make a well-informed decision regarding whether to expand Maple into the retail operation. While this operation for growing is evident, the decision involves significant financial, operational, and strategic implications must be carefully analyzed before proceeding. Now, you are expected to evaluate Samantha by analyzing the revenue potential under both business models, assessing cost structure and profitability, and determining whether the expansion is financially viable. In addition, you should consider the break-even implication of the retail model, or recommend appropriate financial strategy, and explain the accounting treatment for major assets such as equipment. So this is what is expected. So it's an interesting thing here. It's not too complicated. The way I see it is not too complicated. You can do this. You're smart people, you can do this. What you can do is start with the weekly base, do some calculation on the weekly base. You have all the information available. Come up with the cost, come up with the sales. See where you are. Are you making enough to cover the cost or not? Then move a little bit ahead. You have the new demand with the new selling price. You can calculate the sales price. How much will be the sale per month on a weekly basis? If you want, stay on the weekly basis, but then everything has to be on the weekly basis. Now you have fixed cost per month. And so you have to, the shortest period that you have to consider here will be month. And once you have it to weekly, you can easily put here number 4 and move it to weekly basis. If you want to go on the annual basis, go on the annual basis. That's totally fine. Now on the capital investment, $11,000, it's a capital investment, so you have to see which one of those is the long-term asset, which asset will require depreciation. The way I'm seeing, probably everything will be the long-term assets. So $11,000, it's gonna require depreciation, which depreciation is gonna be transferred into the cost by using those assets. The other thing that I see here is you have the 50% decline if you don't using this marketing. If you're using the marketing, then you're not gonna have the 15% decline. So what I want you to calculate is what we says estimated that without those marketing, the sales volume will decline approximately 50% per year after initial. So the question is, what will be the initial? Is it after 2 months or 3 months? But that will be additional information which I'm gonna give you in class. So what you have to do right now is start familiarize yourself with the information, get comfortable with the numbers, because I'm not gonna change those numbers. I'm not going to change those numbers, but I can give you some specific now information about this and about that and about this and about that, which is not going to require you to change your preliminary calculation from here. Make sense?
Hi, yes. I'm sorry.